The man who built homes from trash. In a small, bustling city where the skyline sparkled with glass towers and the streets echoed with the sounds of daily life, there lived a man named Thomas. Unlike most people, Thomas did not fit neatly into the rhythm of city life. He was quiet, thoughtful, and often seen collecting what others discarded: old bottles, broken furniture, torn tarps, and rusted metal. People called him eccentric, sometimes even crazy. But Thomas saw something in the city's refuse that no one else did: potential. Thomas grew up in hardship. He remembered the bitter cold seeping into his bones during long winter nights, his family huddled together in a drafty shack on the edge of town. The memory of those nights never left him. As he grew older, he noticed that no matter how much the city prospered, there were always people left behind: families living under bridges, children sleeping on park benches, elders seeking warmth in abandoned buildings. The problem seemed insurmountable, and yet, Thomas believed he could make a difference. One day, as he dragged a battered door through a back alley, a group of teenagers jeered at him. But Thomas ignored the laughter. He spent his days scouring alleys and dumpsters, gathering materials that others saw as worthless. In his small workshop, he set to work. Piece by piece, he cleaned, repaired, and reimagined. Wooden pallets became sturdy frames, glass bottles transformed into colorful windows, and torn tarps were sewn into weatherproof roofs. It was a labor of love, and each creation was a testament to his vision. Thomas's first project was a simple shelter. It wasn't grand, but it was warm, dry, and sturdy. He offered it to a single mother and her young son who had been sleeping in an abandoned car. The gratitude in their eyes was all the reward he needed. Word began to spread. Soon, others came to him: people who had lost their jobs, families displaced by rising rents, veterans struggling to readjust to civilian life. Thomas listened to their stories and built homes tailored to their needs. Every home was unique, a mosaic of the city's cast-offs, transformed into a place of safety and hope. At first, city officials were skeptical. They questioned the legality and safety of Thomas's creations. But as winter descended and his shelters provided warmth to dozens who would otherwise have braved the cold, the skeptics became supporters. Local carpenters volunteered their skills. Businesses donated supplies. Even the teenagers who had once mocked him now joined in, learning to build and repair, finding purpose in the work. Through it all, Thomas remained humble. He insisted he was not a hero. "I'm just using what we already have," he'd say, "to give people what they need." But the city saw something more. They saw a man who looked past appearances and saw value in both discarded things and forgotten people. His actions sparked a movement. Others began to organize cleanups, repurpose trash, and build community gardens. The city slowly transformed, not just in appearance, but in spirit. Thomas's story reminds us that greatness often starts with a simple act of compassion. He taught his city that every object, and every person, has value. The homes he built from trash were more than shelters, they were symbols of hope and resilience. In a world obsessed with newness and perfection, Thomas showed that beauty and purpose can be found in the most unlikely places. The lesson he left behind is clear: when we look beyond the surface, when we see potential where others see waste, we can change lives, not just our own, but the lives of everyone around us. Sometimes, all it takes is the courage to care, and the vision to build something beautiful from what others throw away.